How to save your marriage. And today we're going to talk about sex and intimacy. My name is Niels.
I'm Nadine.
And together we are the
couple coaches.
And this is going to be a little slippery in the talk. Even a lot of couples that have really good communication struggle when it comes to the bedtime talk. Because people find that very uncomfortable. Talk about sex and talk about their desires.
Sometimes they don't even know how to talk about it. They feel that their sex life is getting boring, or even they want to try something, but they don't allow themselves to talk about their desires even with their partner, because they might be scared what the partner might think of them, or they feel that they're not normal. And this can be a real issue, especially marriage.
Correct. And because the person doesn't talk about it, the other doesn't know what the person wants. It's compared it with cars. It's
cheesy comparison.
It's still cheesy. It's a very good comparison, because there's basically as much sexual variety than there are cars. So when I going to want to buy a car, then my wife would ask me, what type of car do you want to buy? So there's more than just one car. There's a sedan, there's a pickup, there's a minivan, there's a sports car, and there are like 40 different brands in the US. So there is a huge variety. So when I tell I want to buy a car, then what car? And that's basically with sex. And this is where you in your marriage has to be more aware of, that sexual desire or sexual tendencies can change during your marriage, during your relationship.
Absolutely. Our first 4 years, it was a really big struggle, I would say, with our sex life. I didn't feel the desire to have sex at all. It was basically, I think it was, if it was once a week, that was a lot for us. Sometimes it was just once a month. It was not because I didn't love my husband. It was because I didn't have the desire to have sex. And especially for us women, I'm pretty sure that you can relate to that. Most of the time, we are not ready like that, like men are. We want to feel the desire that we can be open to have sex, to have sex, and to enjoy the intimate moment with our partner. This doesn't work for me, it didn't work just like that, because I didn't have the desire. I wasn't ready for it. And that took a lot of tension on our relationship back in these days.
And this is where, and again, sharing from our perspective, is where I didn't know, because I was like, she didn't want to have sex, so this is awkward. And we just went intimate because she wanted to pleasure me. And this is where these two different perspectives come from. And this is where my view, and I think it's most of the men's view, is, hey, there's just one type of sex, probably, and you probably know what I'm talking about. However, if we would have explored the huge variety, and we mentioned that I think in Wikipedia there are like 107 different of sex acts, and they're like even much more subcategories. So there's a huge universe of variety. If we would have discovered that at that time, finding what there is out there, it probably wouldn't have been completely different. But for that, you have to communicate about it. And I think that the marriage should be the safest space for you to talk about your sexual desire. And it shouldn't matter what it is, because it's what you basically desire.
Your partner should be your safest room to speak about your desires, to speak about your dreams, your things you want to try out, with talking about your desires with your partner. And yes, see?
Yes.
And it should be the most normal thing on earth to talk about your sex drive. As a woman, as a man, doesn't matter. Yeah, this is how it is.
So basically what you should do, and this is what we did as well. I mean, this is, of course, it's that awkward to talk about your what you think you want to discover. However, this is how you work. It's like, it's even when you buy a house, you choose the house together. When you buy, look at my car, you buy, usually if it's a family car, you probably buy the car together. Or when you book a vacation, you book the vacation together. Or if you plan the marriage, okay, maybe probably not, but maybe that part, it's more woman, I don't know, whatever the marriage, but you at least like somewhat plan it together. So this is with sex as well. There, as mentioned, because there is this huge variety, and there you have these different type of desires. And I think the worst case is if you don't get this desired at some point, if you don't get the pleasure out of what sex is, because sex should be something which is nice, which is beautiful, which is something, which is this intimacy between you and your partner. It should be probably the most beautiful thing, something very intimate that you can just share with your partner, a moment of pleasure, a moment of happiness, of joy,
Trust.
of trust.
Very important thing is, for me, a very important thing is trust. And I can only build trust if I'm open with my partner, and if I communicate openly, and if I talk about my desires. And yeah, this is one of the most important thing for me in a marriage.
We invite you to do as a couple, like starting to talk about your desires, talk about what you want, talk about what your preferences, talk about what you want to try, talk about.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Now we are almost in 2024. When we record this video, it was still 2023. So we're almost in 2024. And at this time, we are in a world which, in the most Western countries, is very open when it comes to sexual preferences. And I think this is something where we should be really happy for, that you don't have to, I mean, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to talk about it with your friend, and this is totally fine. However, you, as mentioned, you in your own marriage, you should be able to talk about it, and you should be able to live what you love.
Yeah. And not to hold yourself back. This is something very important as well, because we've seen lots of marriages falling apart because one or both of them were not happy when it comes to bedtime.
Yeah, and in the end, nobody's really happy.
Yeah.
I mean, the other one is not happy because he doesn't get what he wants. And the other one is not happy because
he or she doesn't know why the partner is not happy. Because they don't talk about it.
Yeah, or they have, or you get this tension in the relationship because the other one doesn't get what he or she wants, but the other doesn't want to, and then you have this you get this tension at some point, and which then certainly puts pressure on your relationship.
And every other discussion which comes after that will build up on more pressure on the relationship, because you're already not happy in your relationship.
And this is also where a lot of disconnects come from. And a lot of people don't really figure out that disconnect can even start with the different sexual desires, or not having sex at all. And another very important issue is if you don't have the sex desire, there could also be like a hormonal disbalance or like a medical reason for it.
Yeah.
So if you feel that there's something abnormal, and if you feel like I want to have desire, but I cannot. There's a good chance that this could be a hormonal disbalance, maybe caused by the birth control. Yeah.
It was it was actually the reason for my missing desire, or never had the feeling that I want to have sex. As I said, it wasn't because I didn't love you. It was because I just didn't have the desire. There was no desire for me, and sex was just something that I wanted to give my husband without having the desire, and this wasn't pleasurable for me at all. And you could feel that as well, right?
Yeah, I could feel that.
So for me, it was the birth control when we decided to have kids. Of course, when you decide to have kids, it all gets better because you want to get pregnant, right? But even after that, I never took birth control again. We have 2 kids, and this was the most beautiful thing for me, not just not taking birth control anymore, but feeling that I could have desire and I could feel that I want to have sex. This is something which every woman and man should feel that feeling. It's for me, it's a very important feeling to feel that desire, that I not just know I love my husband and that we belong together, but still having sex, like after almost being together 25 years, is like, I would say, the first week when we met, right? I mean, you're all about like having butterflies in your belly, and this is something which we still have. And this can only happen if you're completely open to your partner about everything.
I mean, after that, we actually then had to discover our different views of sex.
Yeah.
And that getting aligned. And we had a coaching through that. We had a beautiful class through that where we discovered all this. And it's a beautiful way to discover that together with your wife or with your partner.
So I really want to encourage you to be open about your desires, be open about your things you want to try, because there's nothing wrong with you if you have a desire inside of you never talked about. That is okay. But I want to encourage you to do it, to have some quiet time with your partner and talk about what you want to try, what sex means to you, because not everyone is different, and for everyone sex means something different. So be open about it and talk about it.
It's not all about sex. I mean, we use sex a lot, and sex is something which is
big, a big word. Yeah.
It's all about the intimate moment. It's about holding your hands, being on the couch together, watching TV, listening to music. These intimate moments.
Oh, sorry.
Like in front of the fireplace, we have one beautiful back there.
Yeah.
And using and having these moments of closeness, which is just beautiful, which is I think one of the most beautiful experience you can have with your partner.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk a lot. You just enjoy the moment, which I think it's something which is so unique in the world that we as humans can have those moments.
Yeah. And even with kids, and I mean, we know that when you have little kids, newborns, little kids, preschoolers, it is not always easy, of course. But even with kids, it is manageable. We did it as well. We have 2, they're 17 and 15 now. So this is a different kind of age, but it is always working. If you take some time for yourself, and you as parents need time for yourself, everyone needs time for themselves, you're going to find that time. It is working.
It is. And when we got the kids, we had no family. We used to live in the US at that time.
Yeah.
There was no one.
We did it all by ourselves.
And we still made it work.
Yeah.
If you have different challenges in your life, however, if you want to make it work, you find way to make it work. just focus on how you can make it work
Together.
together. Yeah, but it's just always about these intimate moments, and you can have them with children, without children. It doesn't matter how old they are. It's just how about you want to make it work. And you probably want to make it work because otherwise you wouldn't watch this movie. This movie, not a movie, this video.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
True.
So yeah, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, send us a message. You can and follow us on Instagram. Or send us the DM, and we will see you in the next video.
See you soon.